Baby. Big week.
Welcome to the League of Gentlemen podcast for the 10th season, and I believe this is our 10th episode.
10th season, 10th up. Wow, we made it to double digits.
Double tens. 10. Yeah, and speaking of double digits, you can tell that we're down one podcast host this week. He has a big day coming up Saturday, so we decided to give him the week off.
Everyone wish Leo a happy wedding.
It's actually a bet that we made. Whoever lost our matchup couldn't be on this week's episode of the pod. So
Leo threw it because he knew he had wedding things coming up.
Exactly. So
yeah, you got to respect it. Well, good luck to Leo, and we'll be holding down the fort this week. All right, well let's hop right into it. So looking at week 9, Nikki, if you can share your screen whenever it's convenient for you.
It's low scoring week, no? Comparatively, pretty low scoring week.
I think I was the third highest at, I was going to say, I think it was the third highest at 110, which feels gross after how high scoring last week was. I was third highest last week with like 140 something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, speaking of you, I guess we'll get started with the pod matchup. There's 2 pod matchups.
Yeah, one of the 2 pod matches. Unfortunately, I had the worst week I've had this entire year. Can't really run that.
I was going to say, hard to beat yourself up on that. I mean, we talked about it going in. Your team was as hobbled as it gets, and you kind of had to cobble things together and hope for the best. And
yeah, I believe 5 of the players, right, or 4 of the players I started were not on my team a week ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the injury bug happened to bite you. I mean, injuries always bite you, but they happen to bite you during the week, too. You lost Aaron Jones during the game. Deion Jackson came back, but Deion Jackson got hurt in the game when he had 4.6 points and then didn't score again.
The Colts offense was – I'm not sure if you guys watched that game. I watched a little bit of it. That might have been the worst offensive game I've ever seen in my entire life, that Colts game. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So – and obviously Frank Reich just got fired, so it makes sense. But
right, yeah. I mean, meanwhile, Josh obviously had a solid week. I mean, look at that, 110, third best score. Cooper Kupp, right?
Exactly. I mean, I don't think there's much to dwell on with this. Like we said going in, I think you were just kind of in a bad spot last week with everybody you were missing, and it wouldn't have been. I mean, I think looking at this, right, you were second lowest scoring, so you just kind of got caught in a bad week, but you got everybody coming back for the most part now, or at least getting close, right?
Yeah, except for my 2 starting wide receivers that probably have at least 2 more weeks each.
Yeah, but Josh Palmer looked good. I think Josh Palmer's a good plug and play until Mike Williams gets back.
Yeah, I'm okay with my life, but not happy about it as always.
I don't blame you.
Are you just going to flex Tua and Herbert all season, or are you going to go with Tua from here on
out? I'm probably going to stick to I made the trade to get Herbert, but it's just it was a hope and a whim that Keenan,
the games that he plays fully. So
it was a hope and a whim that Justin Herbert would come back, Keenan would come back at the same time. They'd kind of catch lightning in a bottle, and Tua doesn't have the best matchups to end the year, and the Chargers do have very good matchups. So if I make the playoffs, we might be looking at Herbert in some spot starts if he gets his full team, his full plethora.
Yeah, they're backed up pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, next game we got Koenig v. Swaxon. And Sam
pulled off
the sub. Yeah, poor Koenig. I believe Sam had the most, right?
Yep, he went against the highest score back-to-back weeks.
Yep, which just, look at the points again. We'll look at the rankings later, but looking at Koenig's points against, it's like, God, the poor man.
There's nothing you can do. It's just, it stinks that Ryan, I think we joked about this, but it would be interesting to go back at the end of the year and see where Ryan averages out on points against across the years that we do have records of, even though we switched our scoring to lower scoring numbers. So,
yeah, even looking at this matchup, like the Patriots scoring 26 points is not a common thing. So, like, Ryan just can't catch a break anyway he turns. Because Ryan's team is 1,000 times better than Sam's team. And same with double tight end, I respect, but
Sam's entire score came from Jay Jetta, Goddard, and the Pats D.
That's
Mm-hmm. So, pretty representative of Sam's team. He had a great week for Sam, but still, had 6 players that really, they were fine, but not great. So, good for Sam. He's still in the mix of it. So
Sam's bench did pretty well, though. I just looked at that. 15 from Michael Carter, 17 and a half from Christian Kirk. Jared Goff outplayed Mariota by 4 points, but I didn't even realize that his bench had a pretty solid week.
Yeah, I didn't realize he started likely over Christian Kirk. That's pretty crazy.
That's a bold
top 12 receiver this year, right?
That's a bold move.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But he's a bold man, so
yeah. So
9 overall. Wow.
Looking at the next game, we got Rosen v. Flag, 2 of my kind. Tucker never even met her. The guy won another game. And you got Foreman. I can hardly fit 3. pretty Great Flag. Good stuff. We're loving it. Keep it up. But your team still is not looking too hot.
Yeah.
And, pretty
Is
sad.
Devin Cook out today, or he had to start him, right? Just because he had no other running back. I think that's. I don't know what that is.
You saw that too, Nick, right?
Yeah.
I was sneezing.
Josh was convulsing.
Yeah. No, I started sneezing, and you guys know my sneezes, the little baby sneezes. There's a million of them. I apologize.
Josh developed a tick in the middle of that matchup right there.
Wow.
He went on a little tangent.
That's right. He just didn't have another running back to start, so I remember he had to start Alexander Madison.
So look at it for look at it though for Aaron. It's super unfortunate. He had to start Alexander Madison, a backup running back. Started Foreman, who was in a game where Joe Mixon scored 55 points, so they couldn't run the ball at all. Romeo Doubs gets hurt early in the game. Evan Ingram gets hurt and goes out. Packers score 9 total points and give up 15 to the Lions. It's like that's
already not a good day.
Bad luck.
Yeah,
bad luck as you can get.
Yeah. And looking at Josh's team, like his team doesn't stand out to me either as like a powerhouse, but like. He has Devontae Adams, obviously, but obviously the Raiders are just the most like hot and cold team in the league. Devontae Adams, I think, scored all 31 points in the first half, and then did nothing the second half. So,
yeah,
interesting team.
It's like similar backwards thing to me of what Koenig's like record is for Rosen. His team is not terrible. Like his team is really not terrible. He has easily wide receiver 1 and running back 1. But just ended up not looking like that. Dalvin obviously has not looked good this year, and Devontae is still a top 5 receiver.
Not a terrible game last week, right? Got
he's
a
not
touchdown,
like
which is first touchdown of the year. It looks like so. That's kind of first receiving touchdown.
I will point out with Rosen though, he might have a little bit of a sleeper in Jeff Wilson Jr. It seems like Miami went out. It seems like Mike McDaniels went out, got his guy, even though Mostert was one of his guys as well, but went out, got his guy, and they tailored it for him.
For sure. The Dolphins are going for it clearly with their free agent and trades this during the season. So you can tell that is not a trade that they're like, oh, okay, we got Jeff Wilson, we need more running backs. He's going to be the guy, I think, which is sick for him, and also pretty crazy that what's his name practiced this week. Elijah Mitchell practiced this week too, right? Or Elijah Moore.
Elijah Mitchell for the 49ers?
Sorry, yeah, Elijah Mitchell. He practiced this week, so he is looking like he's going to come back, which makes sense why Jeff Wilson sent to the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they were going to relegate him to their third guy. And Mike McDaniels, former offensive coordinator for the 49ers, was like, hey, if I can get this guy who knows my scheme, he comes in right away and it works. And he knows Raheem Mostert too. Mostert has been injury prone, so if you can get a guy who's going to hold up a little bit better and spell Mostert a little bit, it's not a bad move.
Right, and they're clearly not giving the ball to Chase Edmonds at all.
Plus, keep in mind, Rosen's got Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, who are on bye. I mean, Rosen's got a very, very solid team across the board.
Yeah. He's got Odell, too, waiting in the wings, so you never know.
Yeah, Rosen's pushing himself into the mix of it. He's at 4-5 now. Middle of the table, tie with Flegg record, even though I'm sure he has more points for than Flegg. But
those pancake jokes working for him.
Another ass kicking here. Not a surprise, though, in this one. I think compared to the other one, I expected Josh and Aaron's matchup to be a lot closer than it was, but this one, I think everybody kind of figured it was going to be a lopsided affair, and it was.
Yeah, Timmy Tom Tom's still top of the table. Top of the table, Timmy Tom Tom, 7-2, Taylor Gang. I mean, dude has a great team.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with Josh Allen moving forward, but from everything what people are saying, it sounds like it's not too serious, and he seems like a guy that will work through it no matter what. Kenneth Walker, again, I mean, just pick up of the year, I guess.
Yeah. You know how ESPN always does they do their summary of the champions of fantasy football leagues. Like Kenneth Walker is going to be one of those players that he is a league winner because you're getting him in the late. I don't know where Tom got him. It's got to be post 10th round, right? Or at least around 10th round, and he's easily. I mean, he's a league winner. Like look at those points he's been putting up.
Got him 112 overall.
112. Well, that's if you're looking at the ESPN, that's not accurate.
Yeah, it's not accurate.
Well, it says 10th round.
Nick just put them all in wrong because Nick makes.
I'm not going to spend 3 hours inputting the draft results like that.
You can do it live, dude. They have an app to do it live.
Don't think they do. ESPN's not that intuitive.
I will say though, Tom might have 2 guys that end up being on that list of league winners when you look at Josh Allen also. I mean, Tom's got the sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, and poor Drizzle, still not looking great for him. I believe he has lost 6 straight. I think which is the largest streak period right now.
Yeah.
That's 6 straight losses for Drizzle to drop to 2-7.
Poor guy.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he had CMC on bye, Debo, Deontay Johnson bye, and Cowboys D honestly wish he'd been putting up numbers.
And Zeke was on a bye / hurt. So, and I mean, I don't know. He's got a good team. He's not somebody you're going to necessarily want to face since it does look like Mecole Hardman might have a little bit of a role now in that Kansas City offense.
Yeah.
2 or 3 good weeks in a row, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and of course, you stack Lamar and CMC. That's an easy 50 points, like most weeks.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy for teams that are competing for the playoffs. You're probably not going to want to face.
Yep.
I will be curious to see what happens with Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what they said, how long Jonathan Taylor is going to be out for, but I feel like
practice today and look good.
He's going to be a sell when you can kind of guy for most people. But we'll see.
I mean, yeah, you could argue he's kind of been like that for a little bit now, and I'm very down for John Tay to stay down because I got Deion Jackson and he put up a little pooper last week, but
he looked good he looked good on a bad offense until he got hurt. So
yeah. And next up, we got Trev versus Jimmy Jim, and James takes down the dub. Also going to 7-2, so those are our leaders right there at 7-2. Trevor takes the L and drops to 5-4. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, I was really hoping Trevor could sneak this one out, just my own selfish reasons, so I can sneak up in there in the 2 slot of the the standings, but James's team kind of just prevails like that. I mean, Joe Mixon had 53 points. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Yep. Elephant in the room. Joe Mixon had 53 points.
James's team did nothing otherwise.
James's team quite literally did nothing.
Yeah.
And
Jalen had a good week, but it was literally the two of them combined for 73 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to blame Trevor.
Yeah.
When that's the case. I mean,
Josh made a good point. We talked about it today at work. He was not joking when he said Trevor would score 90 to 100 points every single week. No more, no less. 90 to 100. Might win, might lose. But
you know what that's the thing. When you're playing Trevor, you know what you're getting. He's going to put up 90 to 100 points. And if your team can get past that, if your team can get to 105, you have a very, very good chance of beating Trevor. But if you get stuck in that, 85 block because your team had an okay week, you're probably going to lose to him.
If you're Trevor, are you worried about Jeff Wilson Jr. coming in and losing Raheem Mostert?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it looks like Mostert and Jeff Wilson is what they wanted with Mostert and Edmonds. So I still think Mostert's going to have a good role. If anything, I'm more worried about Leonard Fournette potentially losing the job to Rachaad White, and then Trevor's in a position where he's got both guys, and you're not getting much production out of either.
Yeah, but then, I mean, I didn't realize that he has both Lions running backs, he has both Bucks running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing with Trevor's team, and it kind of emphasizes the mid of his team, is that just none of his players have had these super boom weeks. Like, they're all just consistent. Like, I'd expect Michael Pittman to pop off more than he has this year. Leonard Fournette has yet to have a game where he scores 25, 30 points, I don't think. Maybe one, but it's just...
I think he had
one boom week,
Yeah.
It's just he needs more of those. I think we've all gotten that spurts more often than he has.
Right. And, this is pretty awesome for James because, most of his – granted, he had Chubb and Cortland Sutton on bye, but, most of those players had shit weeks, and Joe Mixon just led him to the promised land. 46 points in the first half. That is
disgusting.
bothering.
Absolutely disgusting.
He's on track for more points than Trevor got the entire week.
Yeah.
In the first half. It's wild.
And I will say, I'm eating crow a little bit on DeAndre Swift. I will say I still think he has a chance, but it genuinely seems like Dan Campbell just has beef with DeAndre Swift. He is still the more efficient back than Jamal Williams when he's out on the field, but Dan Campbell doesn't want him on the field. I was watching bits and pieces of that game, and they kept showing DeAndre Swift on the sidelines wanting to get back into the game, and they wouldn't put him in. So
yeah,
that's your first round pick that just is getting healthy, and now their coaching staff just doesn't like him.
Yeah, I don't know the background. I also didn't watch whatchamacallit, the TV
Lions
show.
Game. Oh, Hard Knocks.
I don't watch Hard Knocks this season as well. So I'm not
Dan
sure.
Campbell is just a clown of a coach. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that is pretty wild. That I think I just looked it up real quick. Jamal had 24 carries to Swift's 2.
Yeah, so. and in Swift, that's the thing that's crazy about it is if you look at it really closely, Jamal Williams had 10.1 points on 24 carries. DeAndre Swift had 6.5, and you said he had 2. Obviously you have receptions in there, but there's clearly a more efficient running back that you've got, and he's just not giving the ball to the guy.
Yeah, small sample size, but it's hard to say. You never know if that's what's always going to be tough. Like for Trevor of starting between Jamal and Swift, although we'll get to the preview, but right now in his lineup, he has both of them for next week. So
yeah, well, that's week 9.
Yeah.
Like I said, low scoring
for
the most part. That's Oh, sorry, there's one more.
We have the one you were waiting for, my guy.
I know, Leo's not here, so the air was deflated a little bit from my celebration parade.
Yeah, whether it was Nick betting Leo or Leo just being too chicken shit to be on the pod this week when Nick just beat him.
We'll go with the latter. Huge week, huge for me. I think this is probably the second or third week that we've got the matchup of the week correctly. As far
We're
as
starting to get good at these matchups of the week.
we are, this came down to Monday night of Evan McPherson or Taysom Hill versus Devin Duvernay, and Duvernay almost took a goose egg. So,
Yeah,
I'll say this.
heartbreaker.
This is my just personal opinion. This is the exact reason why I try to take one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks every year. And I don't mind picking a quarterback like in the 4th or 3rd round, because they have weeks like this where they score 34 points and pretty much win you the game. Any other quarterback in, I lose this matchup by 10. So,
Yeah.
This is why I take risks, and not risks, but I take quarterbacks early and often. So
I will say it is hard to fault Leo a little bit on that, because Leo drafted the MVP as the last. Leo was the last person to pick a quarterback, and he got last year and the year before his MVP. So even though his wide receivers
with an elbow
aren't
injury,
nearly what they are,
Yeah, but I mean that was baked
Rodgers?
in. Rodgers was on.
Oh,
was
sorry, I
on
thought you were
the-
talking about Stafford. Apologies.
I somehow Rodgers. It's baked in that he's on the down though. I mean, Rodgers was fantasy like across the board ranked below the top 12 quarterbacks or number 12. And
yeah, but
I think he went 14 even.
I think Rodgers is always a fantasy guy that it's proven not until he shows you that he can. Like, they're always going to say he's not a fantasy quarterback until he becomes one, i.e. last year. So, I mean, Leo's team is still very good. Derrick Henry's guaranteed 2 touchdowns every single week. Travis Etienne's turning into the guy guaranteed 2 touchdowns every single week. And
Travis Etienne.
He needs his flex pieces, Duvernay, tight ends, and quarterback to just do a little bit more, and he'd win just about every matchup, I'd say.
Etienne's got a beautiful rest of season schedule too.
He also has a name that is just 3 letters, and I will always love that for him.
E-T-N.
It's in
But
the
yeah,
game.
good matchup, big win for you, Nick. That puts you in a real good spot to fight for those 1 or 2 seeds.
Yeah, very excited about Garrett Wilson. He got a lot of touches and a lot of targets. So I was super excited. Even though he didn't score, but him scoring the same amount as A.J. Brown was good to see. And fuck you, Dan. Antonio Gibson's garbage. I want my Brandon Ayuk back.
He got you a win last week.
He did. The Redskins, or not the Redskins, the Commanders just
Oh,
Whoa! Put a quarter in the quarter jar.
they just aren't very good. I don't think they got on the goal line very often. So
Yeah, I was pretty glad that you did that trade for me because I was trying to sell Antonio Gibson as early as in the season as I could. But
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want to look at
so-
standings first or power rankings first?
let's look at power rankings first. So, considering last week, this is what we got for the power rankings. I'll read it off real quick for our listeners. Week 9, we got James 1, Thomas 2, Nick 3, Josh Caliendo 4, Leo 5, Trevor 6, Rosen 7, Fleg 8, Dan 9, Koenig 10, Sam 11, and Drizzy Drake second week in a row. Number 12.
I will say I think this is the closest our rankings have actually looked to being cohesive, and I think this is the best our rankings have looked. I think this is
Yeah, not much
the
movement
best representation.
not much movement up top other than you and Leo, obviously, but that makes sense since
And I think that's going to go. I think that'll probably go back and forth for the rest of the year.
To be honest, the top 5 spots have really been the same for the last 5 weeks or so, or at least 4 weeks.
yeah, and just to kind of show what the ESPN standings are, obviously. James, Thomas, myself, Josh, Leo, Trevor, Sam, Josh, Aaron, Dan, Drake, and Ryan. I think Jake and Ryan are both mathematically eliminated from playoffs at this point.
That's
Couldn't
like
roll
a-
with Drake.
We
But,
got
yeah,
a 2%. We got a 1%. Supposedly they're there.
Yeah, there's got to be a way. I mean, we still have 5 weeks. How many weeks do we have left? That guy.
This is week 10. I think it ends in week 14. So
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
5 weeks.
5
Yeah.
weeks, including this week. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It is possible because if the wheels fall off with Tom and James, I think that's what they're basing it off of.
Just in general, I mean, Koenig wins out and can go 6-8, which can easily be the middle of the table. Tied for
Nobody in the top 6 right now has 6 wins. So yeah, he's still got a chance.
Yeah, just a staggering amount of points against. It's crazy.
Poor guy.
I've broken the 1,000 mark in points for, so that's exciting. Coming for James, but yeah, like I said, not much changes today, other than just kind of maybe a couple in the midsection. But
don't ignore, Nick, that I broke the 1,000 mark on my points against.
There you go.
That's what I'm going for it, like I am every season.
Love that.
Right where you need to be, Dan. Right where you need to be.
Awesome. Well, I think there's really was no real waivers or trades that we got to really talk about.
No,
right?
It's been a pretty quiet week. I think everybody's kind of just filling defenses and kickers and maybe some flex positions this week.
I think we're getting to the time of the year where people are just going to start. I know from looking at it, Leo and I started doing it, just kind of grabbing guys to just sit and go, okay, let's hope they are something, or let's hope they give us something toward the playoffs just in case there's an injury.
Yeah, it's worth noting. I mean, we got 5 more weeks of regular season, and we're in like the meat of bye weeks. I mean, last week was 6 teams on bye, and this year the bye weeks go until week 14. So there's going to be teams that are going to have players on bye the last week of the regular season in fantasy, which is going to be brutal. And I know I have at least 1 or 2 players that are that.
So I gotta hope you lock in a playoff spot by then.
That is the goal right there, is to have it locked up.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well,
oh man, I'll be missing AJ Dillon in week 14. That's rough.
Yeah, well, I got Aaron Jones on the other side of that, sir. Well, it looks like it's time to look up at
matchup preview.
All right, Nick, what's the first game we're looking at?
First game is yours truly, Detective Alan Gamble, versus Kyrie is right about the Jews.
Nick, you should not be the one reading that team name. You should be the last guy who reads that.
Dude, I've been told I look Jewish, so.
By who? Some freaking schmuck?
Got a big nose, curly hair, it works out.
You work out?
It works.
All right, well, so what are you guys thinking about this game? Nick, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I have pretty much the meat of my team back. Garrett Wilson's out, so I don't know what I'm going to do about A-Rob. He kind of freaks me out a little bit.
You might want to bench him. Matt Stafford's going to be out.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm still.
Well, I guess Matt Stafford hates him anyway. So
I just dropped Paris Campbell, which I don't regret, but now I'm starting to rethink that. I may start 2 tight ends this week, so we'll see.
You have a guy that you could flex that is quite literally the definition of a flex in real life. So
you talking about Tyler Algier?
No, Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, brother.
Yeah, but as we saw last week, Taysom Hill's super bust and boom. Like, it's more bust than boom with him. So, I feel good about this. I do think Eckler's going to come down to earth at some point. I'm just kind of.
Niners are a good defense too.
Yeah,
I genuinely, I hate to say it, I almost disagree with him coming down to earth because of the injuries that they have. He's their RB1 and their wide receiver 1 right now. I mean, that guy
don't get me wrong. I think he's going to finish running back 1 by the end of the year, like without a doubt. But
want to put some money on that?
Yeah, I'd be interested to do that. Who do you? Yeah, I'm down.
No, you have money on Eckler being 1. I'll take him.
Yeah, Dan gets a field.
Any other position.
Okay,
Dan gets the field.
$5.
I feel like I need more odds, but that's
no $5.
Okay, $5 deal.
Shake it.
I will say though, Nick, keep in mind when CMC was on his absolute tear as the one, I think he was literally averaging close to 30 points a game. Derrick Henry at his peak when he was the RB1 was averaging 25 points a game. So it's not at all impossible to say that he keeps this up. I mean, the guy's averaging 21.1. He very well could
that's
go.
with some outliers in week 1 and 3.
And this offense has been bad. The offense has been bad because they're missing their wide receivers. You think it would be, you would think it would be bad for him to get a guy like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, but it only helps him because it's going to keep drives alive and get him more plays. So I think he could genuinely be the one and just carry it.
And I know we talked about, I'm excited for Dalton Schultz. With him and Dak seem like they have a really good connection. So even with CD, I'm not too worried about that, to be honest with you. And then Sam's team, again, his team, I know we've talked about it late, but his team just doesn't necessarily scare me. But he has a chance to beat anybody, I think, any other week. So we'll see.
I mean, he's got Jay Jetta, who can always pop off for 30, just whatever the Vikings are doing that week. Who are they playing?
Christian Kirk is the number 9
Buffalo
overall wide receiver.
Yeah, Christian Kirk has had a very steady, solid, like low-end wide receiver 1 season. I mean, he's like averaging between like 10 and 20 every single game, and that's fantastic for his wide receiver too.
It's one of those things. I mean, and when you say boom or bust, I think if you look at projections are, and I hate projections, don't get it wrong, but I think they're actually doing you a disservice. I mean, 24.4 for Pat Mahomes seems low. 16.8 for Eckler when he's averaging 21 seems low. CD, I think, is low. I think Dalton Schultz is a little bit low. So I think as much as I hate to say it, I think Nick has a really good team. He is the person I hate most in fantasy, but I got Nick this week for sure.
Yo, Nick.
Yeah, I'm obviously picking myself as well, and I guess I'll give out Leo's pick since I have him in front of my face. He's picking me as well.
Yeah, I really think that. I mean, Sam had a fine week last week. I think he's due for another solid week. I don't love your team that much this week, Nick. I think the Niners are easily one of the defenses that can shut him down. And but I don't think it's by much. But I'm going to take you by like a 5 points, Nick.
Oh no, Nick! You got
Powered
the curse of the
Riverside
pod
FM.
Oh, we're getting ads now.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you guys, I monetized the pod, but I'm taking all of the money. So
perfect.
Pod sweep. That means Nick's going to lose next week. Good shit.
That's right, baby.
Nick is getting destroyed because we went with the pod sweep.
Appreciate that.
Next up, we got a battle of the my kinds, and in fact, it's myself. Myself, Dan College Morgoon. We're going to pronounce the name correctly this week.
You get to say it right for the first time.
Against Rosen. Never even met Rosen.
Neither have I, man. Nobody's met that guy.
What do you guys think?
Close one. I like both of these teams. I'm a little afraid of Kirk Cousins at Buffalo.
I'm going with my heart. I'm just telling you right now, without even doing any analysis on this, I'm just taking Dan. I'm going with my heart. I feel like Dan's got it in him this week to keep himself in the race.
I hate that. What do you think, Mickey?
Sorry.
I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Dan just for the strict fact that I love Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer's an awesome dude. And Cordell Patterson's dope, too. So I'm going Dan.
God, I really don't like you guys.
I think Josh has tough matchups this week, to be honest with you. That's another reason.
Yeah, I'm really nervous. I mean, I need to win. I need to win basically at least like 4 of these last 5 games to like have a strong chance at least. Yeah, let's go with 4 of them.
That's why I'm pulling for you, man. I like when the league is competitive and there's a lot of back and forth going on. So I would love to see
boys. Leo's also going Dan.
Oh, no.
Well, don't worry, guys, because I'm going Rosen. I wouldn't be stupid as to pick myself, but I don't know. I really don't feel good about it. Like Jamar Chase obviously is still out, Williams still out, and Ramondre Stevenson, who's been my league winner on my team,
That's been your rock.
Bye. So I think I'll either score like 120 or I'll score like 60.
I love Cord Pat tomorrow because that game is supposedly got awful weather and is going to be a slog, and I could absolutely see Cordero Patterson getting. Yeah. I mean, I know that they're trying to run all three guys and give all three running backs a fair shake at it, but I think they realize that Cordero Patterson's the best one they got.
Yeah, I only sat him last week because he was his first week back. I wasn't sure if they're going to ease him back in, and then he scored twice, of course. So I think I think he had at least 40%, if not more, of the carries, if not more, like 60% last week.
How many carries did he have?
13 carries.
13? Yeah.
13? So, I think it's going to only go up and up, and he is a freaking stud. So, I'm excited about him back.
I love him.
I'm still going to pick Rosen because I don't believe in myself, and I have low self-esteem. Next up, we got Foreman. I can hardly fit 3! ! Against Taylor Gang. No period. What do you guys think?
It's the battle of the full Jew versus the half Jew.
Nick, you can't use that word.
Nick, stop saying that.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The problem is that you think it's okay. Yeah.
I love Justin Fields. I'm super excited that Aaron gets to start him. But everything else but Aaron's team kind of worries me. I don't think Josh Allen's playing this week. Josh Allen's going to play this week.
I don't think Josh Allen plays this week. Justin Fields gets Detroit. I still don't love Najee, but I like Hop a lot. I think Terrence Marshall's kind of coming on, but again, that's supposed to be a really bad weather game. I feel gross doing it, but I'm taking Aaron only with the assumption that Josh Allen is going to be out. So I'm taking Aaron on the pod, so I'm on record here. But if Josh Allen plays, it's Tom.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a backup quarterback.
He's got Derek Carr.
Oh, is he? I can't see.
Playing against Derek, so that could be another Raiders win.
Yeah. I mean, you slot in Derek Carr there. That I still think that Tom's team is good enough to take it. Flag texted me last week about Justin Fields, and he had set an alarm to wake up and was planning to play Justin Fields. Try to trade away Joe Burrow before the games, but he wasn't able to do it. He still would have lost.
Doctor life, man.
5 points.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
He wouldn't have had a chance still, but I think Fleg's team is rounding out fine right now. Alan Lazard's on the up, although he's still a little banged. Njoku's back. And Justin Fields, I think that's fine right there. And you got Najee, if he ever will have a good game on top of that.
And
so I think
supposedly Keenan Allen may play this week.
Really? Yeah, he's questionable.
Keenan Allen's turning into the Anthony Davis of the NFL. He's just constantly.
He's a unibrow?
Yeah, he had a unibrow.
Maybe.
And he's like 7 plus?
I do think, to your point, I think Najee, this is his week to make something happen. You were just on bye. You got a week to get it figured out. You got a week to get healthy. I think Pittsburgh needs to realize they need to run their offense through that guy a little bit more. Get him out in some lanes instead of just running the guy down the middle. I mean, it seems like his vision is it seems like his vision is a little bit iffy. So
yeah, Noah's got some nasty men up front though. So you never know.
Cam Jordan's a freak.
He is a freak. I am going to go Tom though. I think even if he's playing Derek Carr and has to pull out Thielen, I think he has good subs for all of his questionable players right there. And I still think that he takes it. I think Rondale is going to actually pop the freak off this week.
I'd love to see it. I don't know if Kyler plays though, so.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going Tom.
Leo's going Tom as well.
Nick, did you pick?
I did. I picked Tom. Tom
I was the only one who's on
Josh. Yeah.
I'm on the Aaron hype train.
Aaron hype? All right, next up we got he who must not be named, who is our fourth podcast host, versus Mike's Hard Trevor Rush.
2 losers last week going at it.
2 losers in life as well.
Yeah, both 5 and 4, but
One of
winners
them's
of the
getting
standings.
married this week. Be nice.
Trevor? Oh, Leo. Okay.
I think this is a little lopsided as well. Again, I don't think Leo's. I'd be curious to see how often Leo's team, if they have scored under 100 points at all this year. I'm sure I could figure that out, but I don't want to. Again, I actually like the Jimmy G spot start here, so I'm going Leo by 10, 15 maybe.
What do you think, Josh?
I want to like Trevor's team because Trevor's team has so many guys that were on my preseason. Like, these are guys that I want list. But just as far as the season has gone, it's hard to run with it. So I've got Leo in this one. I would absolutely love to see Trevor's guys finally do something, have a big Michael Pittman week, a big Chris Olave, a big DeAndre Swift. Hopefully Kyler plays and it does well. But again, I know it's pretty obvious, but I do love Trevor's team. I just wish they were playing better because he's got a lot of guys I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
Just a mid-team.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I mean, like, Trevor's team really should be better. Like,
Right?
Olave's been solid. Pittman is just not looking good. The Colts don't look good. I mean,
Matt Ryan may come back as a starter, though. But Matt Ryan could be starting again.
yeah, but it's not like Pittman was popping off with
But I think
with
Pittman
him.
has a better chance of Matt Ryan than
It's
Sam
weird when
Ellinger.
you
Fair.
look at the optics of Trevor's team. If you go down the position ranks, Kyler is 6, Fournette's 9, Jamal Williams is 13, Pittman's 24, Olave's 16, Zach Ertz is 3, Swift is 36 and he's missed time, so that makes him an RB3, good flex. He's got the number 9 defense, he's got the number 3 kicker. Like, when you look at that, you should go, oh, this is a solid team, and it's just a bunch of consistent guys instead of having guys who pop off.
Curious to see if Trevor sticks with both Detroit running backs, though.
Yeah,
Start
that's yeah. I have a hard time ever going with someone that does that, especially running backs. Wide receivers is one thing. They got, I don't know. I mean, these two are probably the biggest two in the league that you can do that with right now, at least today. But
Maybe the
I
Falcons
don't know.
running backs, but like
I mean-
you guys are forgetting Chubb and Hunt. You guys are forgetting
yeah,
the
that's
team
true.
that does it the best, the Browns.
It's true.
yeah, but to start
I don't
both
know.
on my team that's risky.
I really, really want to pick Trevor's team this week, but I'm going to go with Leo. I think Leo is obviously top 4 in the league for a reason, and I ranked Trevor pretty low based on
And Leo picked himself, so is that a pod sweep?
Yeah, it's a hot sweep.
sweep.
Oh,
So
pod
Leo-
sweep. That's unfortunate. Sorry, Leo. You're getting an L.
Screw Leo on his wedding weekend.
That's gonna make the day after his wedding real sad for him.
Next up, we have King Drizzle at 2-7 versus Hertz Chubb at 7-2.
We're gonna have to do
You gotta-
some creative thinking here.
Do we
want
want to even talk about it?
Yeah, I mean,
these boys are lazy. They don't deserve to be talked about.
Yeah, so it looks like, I mean, looking at projections, let's carry the 3. So James, I think, is favorited by, assuming he plays Cortland Sutton, he's favored by a solid, I guess he doesn't have a defense.
James might be close. I was gonna say James is like almost close to doubling him with projections once you put it.
No.
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 Never mind.
Maybe 100.
No, you're getting 20 from Chubb, so that's 90.
Getting
And then you're
17
getting-
from Chubb and 9.4. So you're
Yeah.
basically James is looking like he's projected for around 95, leaving it maybe 97. And Driz, I don't know what he's going to
He'd
do.
be
'cause
right
he
about the
doesn't
same. Those are the tight end.
have a tight end or a defense. Yeah.
He's a
So
defense. He's a
projection-wise,
kicker.
it's around the same. Granted, I mean, James doesn't have he has Joe Mixon on bye, and he has Naheem Hines in right now, too.
He scored
It
0
looks
points
like
last
he might
week.
have to play Naeem Hines. I mean,
He'll probably do a last-minute pickup Sunday.
I was going to say he might have to pick somebody up.
There's
Van
really not
Jefferson.
much.
Van Jefferson, yeah.
He's played 2 games and hasn't scored in either.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm
So I
going
guess-
Drake here. I like Drake. I think this is his
No
week.
selfish reasons.
Yeah, Nick's trying to manifest. Is that what the kids call it? This is manifesting?
Yeah.
I just looking at James's roster this week, like it doesn't excite me whatsoever. I outside of the top two guys, obviously, in Chubb and Hurts. But other than that, like, nothing gets me excited. I think Geno could have a big day. I think Christian could have, obviously, a big day. And Deontay, I think this is his first week without Claypool. So you never know.
Claypool, keep in mind, Claypool and Deontay Johnson do not play the similar role whatsoever.
Pickens
Claypool leaving benefits Pickens and Freiermuth. That's who that benefits. Obviously, you have targets, but it's not like Deontay Johnson's picking up 5 targets because Chase Claypool left. Maybe he gets in the end zone finally, though, which would be cool.
Who'd Leo pick, Nick?
Leo picked James.
I got James in this one. I hadn't said that, but I do have James.
I really want to pick Drake as well. Fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick Drizzy. I don't feel great about it. I think James' team is the best, but he does have 2 very solid players on bye right now. So I'm doing it, Drizzy. I believe in you, even though you somehow – I mean, he finds a way to, like, make the right decisions for starting. So I'm going to go with Drizzy.
I like it.
All right. Well, I believe that brings us to – sorry, what?
Lastly,
we got
Matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week. Matchup of the week. Matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
that's deep.
We got Koenig, God Didn't Save Me, versus
that name.
still rooting for you, Ryan, Josh Cali.
And I think we cannot
think,
look
Josh?
at this. This is the one matchup that we cannot even talk about projections.
Yeah, this
Koenig
has
seems to
got
always
to-
go above and beyond it.
This has got to be the highest projection we've had this season. It's got to be. Josh Callahan is projected to score 133 against Koenig's 107.
I don't know. You guys know me. I hate talking about my team. I always pick the other person anyway. But we'll see. I mean, Dameon Pierce has a chest injury and didn't practice today. And Cooper Kupp has a Matt Stafford guy who is probably going to be out with a concussion. So I feel like 17.7 is a pretty high projection for him. And the one thing I will say I have the biggest beef with, Saquon is projected the most points every single week, and he never reaches his projection. And I hate projections because of that. He's always projected the most and never hits his projections. Give me a 15 from Saquon as a projection and let him outplay it, and it'll make me feel better.
That's
I mean,
true.
that
I don't.
can't be right.
That's probably the biggest gap between projection and average. I'd have to say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he has consistently had basically 15, 17 points every single week.
Don't get me wrong, I actually love that for my RB1. If my RB1 I know is going to go out there and get me 14 to 18 every week, and I can bank on that, I'm fine. I'm not stressing about that, but don't give me 23.5 as my projection.
Yeah, but those Texans are doo-doo, man. He's going to run all over them. I think Giants are going to pop the heck off just off the bye. He's breaking 30 this week. Callie, you're going to win you're going to score 180 against Koenig, obviously. So we're going Callie for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My favorite
My
favorite part about this is I get to really be invested in the Miami-Cleveland game because I've got Tua and Jalen Waddle, and he's got Tyreek Hill, and I think it's just going to be a fun back and forth to kind of watch. Obviously, I'm going to do my thing that I do, and I'm going to take Ryan. So,
yeah, save the sweep.
Who did?
Josh.
Who did?
Josh.
He said, save the sweep. That's what he said. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, we all just feel so bad for Koenig. His team really is solid.
I will say
it's not fantastic, but it's solid, and he has just been scored on so much.
I would not even be upset to lose the Koenig if he has like this huge, ginormous week or something like that, and beats me, just because I think Koenig deserves that.
Yeah.
Like, Koenig deserves a huge week where he gets a win.
He does, but unfortunately, Josh, you're going to beat him even though you keep picking yourself. We missed doing it earlier. I'm going to share real quick.
Yeah,
catch everyone up on the picks. So give me a second to get this all together. But it's worth mentioning before I even look at this. Like, Callie, if you would just start picking yourself more often, you probably would be in first, but you never do because you're a negging son of a bitch. But that's why we love you. So, looking at last week's picks, starting at the back of it, Callie, speaking of, went 1 and 5. Josh, or Leo, and Nick went 4 and 2, and your boy went 5 and 1. So looking at the standings, Nick is still in first, or is in first now, I think, at 30 and 24. I am in second at 28 and 26. We're in the positive
Nice
stage.
job, Dan.
We got Leo at 500 at 27 and 27, and Josh right behind him at 26 and 28. So all of us really hovering around 500, but Nick
We had very similar picks this current week, so I don't see there being a ton of movement on that. But we'll see.
Yeah, a lot of boring.
Very boring week for our picks.
Yeah,
Now
so
it's
that
time.
means
Everybody's
Best
favorite part
day.
of the week.
everyone's favorite part.
Come on, lock up, baby. Lock up, baby. Lock up. I got him locked. Bingo.
Locks of the week.
Looks of the week. So looking at
It
last
was a
week's
sweet baby.
talking about a pod sweep right there. We got 4 wins. Hopefully everyone parlayed all of ours. Big
I'm curious how
respect
big
to
that
Nick.
parlay would have been if we did all those
Yeah.
in parlay.
I'm sure there's math that can help you there, but I'm not going to do it. Nick, big rep hit his little lay he went for. Nick won a plus 353 parlay 3-legger and
Nice
won.
job, Nick.
So looking at the standings, Leo is still in first at wins at 6 and 3 and cash $45. And Josh and Nick are basically tied at $31 more or less. But Josh is 5 and 4, Nick 4 and 5, but of course just had that big win. And your boy Awful at Betting is awful at betting at 3 and 6. But I'm positive I'm up $3.
I would argue you're the second best bettor here.
My FanDuel account would beg to differ.
Fair enough.
All right, Josh, freaking get us started.
You know how I do. I like to start these off. I've got the Seahawks money line plus 130. My only logic on this is that I want to see the Seahawks beat Tom Brady. I like Tom Brady a lot, and I don't really like the Seahawks, but it'd be cool to see Geno Smith get a win again. So
I think at this point,
I just like Geno
Smith's
Smith's story.
The Seahawks.
I like Geno Smith's story. I want to see him do well and
He ain't
be up
right
in
back.
that top 5 for MVP.
Yeah. I like it when he tells me stories too. Nick, what you got?
I'll go with Leo's pick first. Leo's picking the Titans at minus 2.5. That's
Okay.
at minus 110. I like the Titans personally. I think obviously they're probably favorites to win the South at this point. That division kind of sucks, but
Who are they playing?
it's a good question. Let me find out for you.
Find out for me.
I think it's the Broncos. It
Ooh.
could be- It is the Broncos, yeah.
How is that only 2.5? Broncos are
Yeah.
bad, making me really sad to live in Colorado.
Picked a bad time to move there, man.
I'm going back with another parlay. Why not?
Oh,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I love it.
I'm going.
he's like, this is
three-leg-
an 8-leg parlay.
3-legger. Trying to keep them smaller nowadays. That's been helping me. I've been a little hot recently. Besides Temple, Toledo, fuck you guys. I have the Giants minus 5.5. That seems like a sucker bet. First of all, I don't know how the Giants aren't more favorites at home coming off a bye. I got the Chiefs at minus 5.5. Bought some points there, and then I got the Raiders at minus 2.5. I bought some points there as well. So that's plus 329 for those 3 combined.
I think that's a genuinely good parlay. That feels pretty safe to be.
Little Nick Strat, 3-leg parlays, buy points, no shame. Win
Are
money.
the Raiders playing again?
They're playing the Colts at home.
Indy? Yeah, they're playing Indy.
God.
2.5. What was that? You said it was
1 bought
2.5?
points. It's they're favored like 6.5 or like 7.
Oh,
But I took
okay.
it down to 2.5.
you love those alt
That's
spreads.
what
my man.
buying points means.
That's funny. I always alt spread the other way. I almost always like I think Raiders are going to win by like 20. So I'll, put out like 16 or something. That's easily my biggest winning thing I do in betting is all spreads for big. Like that Bengals last week. Remember it was like -6 or something, and they won by 30.
I think the Eagles, we did -20.5.
Yeah.
21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad strategy.
I like it. I am going the under in the Bucs Seahawks game. It's at 44.5. I think the Bucs games in general probably haven't gone over 40 and 45. So I think it's going to be low scoring.
Dan and I get to wake up Sunday morning after a real long Saturday night and see if our bets hit.
Yeah, those guys are going to be jet lugged as F. They're going to be like singing the Third Reich songs in Germany, and they're all
okay. Well, I think we've gone a little off the rails
Dan,
now.
What'd you go for?
I'm taking the under in the Bucs Seahawks.
Okay.
-10. Yeah, awesome. Well, any longer of the week, Nick, you usually have something you want to show us?
No, I'm taking a new strategy with betting here this past week. So I'm playing a little bit smarter.
He's decided to bet smart now is the goal. That's his new strategy.
Yeah. Nick, you guys should really just like follow Nick's personality as it wavers inside and out the betting spectrum because it is so fun.
It's so fun. If you got
I always make a 5-leg parlay in NFL. It hit 2 weeks ago. The Packers ruined it last week. Just needed them to score the last touchdown.
Never bet. Never bet anything around the
We got a real nice text from Nick about 2 weeks ago, drunk off some wine after a wedding, saying that his new thing is that he's going to be a college basketball
So tonight.
He's like, this is my season.
Starts tonight.
Then we asked him about it.
Coast, maybe.
Asked him about it a week later, and he was like, "I didn't say that."
Nick's ready to put him on coach.
Yeah, got a bet in today.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
everyone wish Leo a happy wedding. Everyone text Leo.
Happy birthday.
Happy wedding, Leo.